Well, well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. We're off to a great start here on the Friday Field Report today. So I am thrilled that all of you are joining us today. Vicky, how are you? I noticed you are also not outside.
I'm not outside right now because I have to do some sleuthing on my Wi-Fi extenders, which I'm going to do, I promise, before the next Friday Field Report.
All right.
I
like it. Look,
yeah.
it's really hot right now.
Can we talk about what happened 2 weeks ago when we did the Friday Field Report? You were sitting in the sun and your phone quit working. Everybody here that's tuning in knows that this happens, right? What happened?
So what happened was it was so hot outside, my phone started overheating and decided that it was just going to shut down all apps so that it wouldn't catch on fire. So I had to run back inside and jump back on. Look, I didn't do it as fast as you did with the pool incident, but I feel like we're both getting really good at this point.
Yeah, we like to keep it interesting. So while we're not in fields today, we do have some special guests that are joining us from a field or two. So we'll make sure that you stay for the whole segment because you never know where they're going to be.
You are absolutely correct there. So what's been new with you lately, Vicky? I know you've got a lot going on. Anything you want to kind of kick off and talk about before we start bringing on some guests?
Of course. I always have things to talk about, Will. Always, especially when it comes to the ConnectWise ecosystem. We had a great week. We had a webinar with Zorus and Infima on unlocking your MSP superpowers. It was a recap from IT Nation Secure, but then also it was really digging into some of the questions that we got from the Q&A. We wanted to hyper focus in on data privacy and implementation of AI, which, leading the AI Roundtable series, there's a lot of questions, a lot of engagement. Everybody's trying to figure it out. And so Brett Cheloff, who joined us, CEO from Zorus, and then Larry Meter, who is the channel chief for Infima, had some really great takeaways. And so I know that our amazing producer, Jessica, is going to be putting some links into the chat. If you want to go check that out, it's on demand. Absolutely. And what about you? What have you been up to?
Oh, well, let's see. Yesterday, we had the Demystifying AI Roundtable, which if you missed it, go back and watch it. It was great. We had Bobby Kuzma, who is a offensive cybersecurity consultant, come on and chat with us a little bit about AI and kind of stuff he's seeing, the stuff he's doing. It was really cool. It was a really great session. We went dark nerd for a little while and really kind of explored some of the scary side of AI. It was fun. But other than that, just got back from an amazing week of vacation. So I am recharged and ready to rock and roll. So can't complain at all there. But that's what's been going on with me over the last week. Recharge.
All right. Awesome. Any shout outs you want to get into real quick before we bring on our first guest outside of the AI Roundtable series?
I mean, AI Roundtable series is great. I also did a webinar yesterday as well with the always wonderful Jay Ryerson. Guess what about AI? We did a Sidekick for PSA webinar. Highly recommend watching that if you're interested in Sidekick for PSA or don't know what it is. Very, very useful. You can find it on the webinars page with if you go to the ConnectWise homepage. Super easy.
Very cool. All right. Well, I've got two things that I wanted to highlight for ecosystem.
All right, let's do that.
And this is something that I want to start doing more of. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. And by the way, please don't judge me, folks, on my ability to really put together an awesome PowerPoint slide, okay? Because I'm not the best at that. But hopefully you can see my screen. This is a shout out to all of our certified Invent vendors through ConnectWise that have been certified as of this year. And I just wanted to say, like, this is a lot of work that and due diligence that these vendors have to do to make sure that they're creating safe and secure certified integrations into the ConnectWise platform, the solutions that our MSPs use every day. So actually call out to Easy DMark. If you have not checked out this vendor on LinkedIn, they actually created a video of their integration day, their go live integration day, where it was, you could see like the sweat, not the tears, but just the stress. Go live. They even had a little button that they pushed, a little green button at Go Live. So they created an integration with ConnectWise and then also with Acronis on the same day. So very cool for any vendors out there that are looking to do a promo video. Definitely reach out to that crew. But again, just want to say congratulations to all of these newly certified Invent vendors. And I'm sure there'll be some webinars and great things to come as well. And then lastly, the links that Jessica put into the comments of whatever platform you're watching on. We've got some great webinars coming up with Keep It and also with Alert Ops next week. And so make sure that you check those out. All right. So
amazing.
Yeah. So
our first guest.
I am. Who is it? Who are we bringing out of the green room?
We are going to bring out a very awesome person who I'm very excited to chat to today. She has been in the field. By in the field, I mean in another country for a little while. And that would be the always amazing Chief People Officer, Kisha Thompson. Join us. Hello.
Well, hello. Thanks for that, Will. Always amazing. I'm going to have to like use that. Like Will said, I'm always amazing.
There you go. Love it. Love it. We're going to get you a plaque for your door that says always amazing.
Always amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your trip. Yeah.
Man, it was awesome. I think everyone's like, oh, how was it? And, the trek, of course, and the time zone difference, you leave that aside. It takes long to get there, but being there was amazing. Just seeing, I only got to see Mumbai and Pune, but seeing those two cities and the differences even between those two cities was awesome. Trying new foods, meeting so many colleagues that are just so excited when they have, people coming over and visiting and just so welcoming. It was a great time.
I love it. And so you were in India with, I know, a number of other members of leadership. So was that just kind of the purpose to get to know everyone over there? Tell us a little bit about why you guys all went over.
Yeah, so I was there with Alan Comet, our newly appointed Chief Customer Officer, and Jeff Bishop lives there. So it's kind of seeing that firsthand. Alan and I just kept saying, well, Jeff is a resident at this point, and actually all of the colleagues say the same thing. But
wow.
Yeah, with Alan being newly appointed as Chief Customer Officer, there's new teams that he's absorbing and kind of how it's structured. So for him to get over there for the first time as well and meet all those colleagues, for me, it was important because of our structure now. It's more function versus geography. So to get over there, actually meet the team, spend some time face to face to dig in on things was just was really valuable to have that time in person and not be kind of cut off after an hour of a Teams meeting or what have you. So.
That's awesome. Was that your first time in India? It's the first time you've gone over?
Yes, it was Alan and both of our first time, and you probably could tell from all of our little and pictures because we're like, this was our first time there, and so it was we were taking it all in for sure.
I would say real quick, if you're not following Kisha on LinkedIn, make sure to find her and connect with her because I really did enjoy like your journals and Alan's comments as well. It was really cool.
Yeah,
I enjoyed living vicariously through you.
Say that again, Will. Sorry.
I enjoyed living vicariously through you.
Yeah, I think Alan's were more descriptive. I told him, I was like, you really gave some good information, which was awesome. I have so many photos that I didn't get to post just because I didn't want to overwhelm, kind of all the posts. But anytime you want to know more about it, just let me know.
Love it.
Favorite food? What was your favorite food there?
Yeah, so it's funny because there's like a little battle between Pune and Mumbai. And so I had the Pune folks saying Pune is the best city. And in Mumbai, they're like, Mumbai is the best. So when I was in Pune, I fell in love with the surmai curry. And they're like, this is it. You're going to love this. And when I went to Mumbai, I told them that. But then Samir on my team actually introduced me to biryani. I don't want to say it wrong. It's Biryani, which was really, really good. And then I had the pani puri, which was absolutely delicious. So it was kind of a toss up between the two, you know, what I had, but those three were my favorites that I tasted for sure over there.
Love it.
Yeah, very delicious. I didn't get the full spice levels yet. I told them
I feel like you gotta
take it up. I was ready for it, and then
did you?
I was ready. Yeah, I love spicy, and then some of them were like, "Well, that's not spicy," because I was like, "Oh, this is great. I don't feel it," and they're looking at me like, "Well, that's because that's the Western version." I'm like,
"Oh, right, yeah."
Ready. Like, give me, you know, I can take it. So next time I go,
all right,
let's elevate it.
Love it. You make me hungry.
I'm making myself hungry. Actually.
I feel like it'd be
Indian food now.
we should get some like Indian recipes out of those offices. I think that'd be really cool. To be like, hey, let's make some stuff, you know?
ConnectWise cookbook. That's what I'm hearing from this.
Yes,
I like that.
I
like
the idea.
Yes.
So what did you learn? I guess what were your big takeaways from talking to our colleagues over in India versus, you know, obviously you're based out of the Tampa office, but what were some of your big aha moments when it comes to, you know, working with our partner community, MSPs? What are your thoughts?
I think the aha moment is, you know, we're so good at partner first and understanding how, you know, having an unmatched community is so important, and it's important within our colleague community as well. And so being able to be over there and just kind of see that we do have work to do to be a fully global organization. It's not just geography that makes us global, but we've got to start being able to actually demonstrate that. And so there are so many different cultural differences that we each can learn from. And obviously we're more than just India and the States, but if we're just talking about that, so there was a lot that I realized we can bring back, you know, from our trips to India that we can also bring over there when we go. And there are things that we can look at to help us kind of just identify where we can switch things up and, you know, kind of just come at it from a different perspective. So we're not always looking at it through one lens. And so valuable time spent for sure.
So that's more of like an outward facing mindset of like stepping out of your shoes and then kind of understanding how other people, you know, work and live and kind of respecting that, having space for that.
Exactly. And when we come up with things, being able to look at all of those perspectives when we are determining how we're going to do things and what have you, there are different ways. And we've got to just remember that we're such a large community of colleagues spread out globally. We've just got to take all of those areas in mind when we do, you know, kind of have different initiatives and such, and then how we kind of present and communicate and making sure that we are reaching, you know, all of our colleagues.
Very cool.
So what were some of like the biggest differences that you noticed, you know, like either like cultural norms or work practices between like here and there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think differences would probably be, I felt like in the office, there's probably a little bit more collaboration, but that also depends on the way the office is set up. For those not familiar with the Tampa office, we're on different floors. And so, you know, you can see the collaboration happen in meeting rooms and such, but because we're spread out on so many different floors, it's different than being over there where it's one floor. Especially Mumbai, it's just one wide open space of kind of collaborative. So it's just, you see it more. You kind of see those, you know, conversations and such happening. And it seems more like it's bustling, if you will, than sometimes when you're spread out, you know, into the different floors like it is here. So.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
Well, one of the things that we love talking about on the Friday Field Report are animals. So we were talking about this a little bit before our Go Live. So Kisha, give us the scoop. What kind of menagerie of animals do you have at your house?
Let's see. So I have 2 huskies who love the Florida weather. I mean, honestly, they're fine here. But I also have a snake, and so he's a Brazilian rainbow boa. And when we were in India, that was one of the questions came up, and I don't know how. And I was on a tour of the Pune complex, and they have a butterfly garden on a complex, which is really cool.
Whoa.
I know. And so we're looking at the butterfly garden, and I think it was Pravin was actually stepping lightly, and someone said he's scared of snakes. And so he's walking that way, and I was like, I have a snake. And they stopped, everyone, and they just looked at me, and I found out that it's illegal to have a snake as a pet in India. They are a protected animal, but you can't have them as pets. And so they were very, very curious about my snakes. I showed a lot of people his picture. So Gator was the subject of conversation a lot throughout the entire week. his name is Gator.
Okay.
And identity crisis for a snake, but yeah, he was definitely a big topic of conversation, and that was something new that I learned. I had no idea that it was illegal.
I didn't know that.
Pet snake. Yeah, learned something new every
awesome.
day. Yeah.
See, there we go. That's there's your adventure. That's the best thing ever.
I know. So I know I can't bring him with me. I will try to bring him with me next time I go.
I also love the fact that you have a snake named Gator.
That is funny. Well, you live in Florida. I mean, I was literally driving my son to daycare this morning, and an alligator ran across the road. And
I have them all the time.
Yeah, you had to break for the alligators.
Mine's because of my alma mater, UF. So I'm a Gator, and Brazilian rainbow. Oh, see, this is awesome. But Brazilian rainbow boas are kind of a lot of mine. He's more orange and has kind of like blue spots and what have you. So he's got the orange and blue coloring, and so it just was a fitting name for him.
Love it.
Okay. So then, this is the challenge. The next Friday field report that you're on, Kisha, we need to make sure that we have you and Gator as attendee, or as part of our.
I'm all for it. I have some people. They'll remain. Actually, I was going to say they'll remain nameless, but our CISO, Patrick Banks, he's like, he doesn't even want to see him on camera. He told me he's like, please don't be on camera with the snake. He doesn't like to talk about him or see them. So I have been very careful. But if it's a request, then I would absolutely love to have him make an appearance for sure. We'll just tell Patrick not to dial in and be part of that one.
Yeah, just be like, Patrick, skip that Friday field report.
Yeah, we'll have to.
That's
very cool.
Great. So you went to India. You got to really immerse yourself in a lot of the culture, a lot of everything going on. How do you guys, I know you were over there with Alan. What's your takeaways from that? How are you going to leverage those experiences and everything that you gained to really kind of help us as a company move forward? Like, tell us a little bit about your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's not to speak for Alan, but some of the things that we talked about is that, we can really accelerate alignment in a lot of areas, being able to have that FaceTime. When you've got reporting structures cross globally like that, it's sometimes hard to really just get a good, clear picture of something, whether it's a process or a technology, if it's a concern, and you're trying to have these different teams meetings and understand. But when you're just there and you get to see it and you can just kind of work through these things live, it can speed up that alignment that we need. Mm-hmm. So some of our leaders here who don't have the opportunity necessarily to go over there, I think it's on us to be able to bring that knowledge back and say, hey, we sat in a room and here's what we came up with, and you can kind of fill that gap a little bit. So that we can just get, kind of better aligned on things. And so that's what I kind of took from it. We had some different, things that as a team, we were kind of struggling to understand. And I wanted to just get a clearer picture of that when I was there. And it was really cool to see it. And the team over there said it as well. And the nice thing about it was they were like, that's why it's so good being in office, being able to have this time and being able to just kind of call someone else over and say, hey, can you pop in really quickly? We have a question and what have you. And so just seeing that kind of resonate with the team, I'm hoping that we can do more of it.
I love that.
Well, thanks for joining us and for those insights, Kisha. Yes. It's always great to have you on, and we would love to have you back maybe when you're actually in another office. I don't know where you're traveling next to, but just let Will and I know. We'd love to have you back on, and of course Gator as well.
Gator, definitely.
Absolutely. No, thank you. It's been great. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Have
a great one, Kisha.
Bye.
We have more guests, don't we?
We do. And I know we're running close on time, but we've got two amazing guests that are joining us.
Worth it.
MJ Shore, who is the head of the CompTIA community at large, and his adorable dog. And we've got Dan Scott, too, from ConnectWise.
No, you told me this was a field report, and you guys are all inside.
It's Florida, and it's hot.
There's somewhere near Oxford, and the cell reception is non-existent. So if I go out anywhere near the field, it's just gonna be like 3 frames. That's all you're gonna get. That's it.
Love it. Love it.
Oh,
So
there you
for
go.
those of you who may not know, Dan Scott is my official fund proxy. If he's at an event and I am not, he is my official fund proxy. So make sure you're taking him up on that.
He's a taskmaster, I'll tell you that. He's a slave driver.
He did you proud in Birmingham, England this week, Will. I can tell you that.
Give us the scoop on that.
What
talk to us.
happened?
Yeah. So first of all, let's go ahead and set this tone a little bit because Dan, what is your role? How do you work with CompTIA?
Yeah, I'm very proud to be the chair of the CompTIA community UK and Ireland. So within the community that we have over here, we have all of our amazing community members. We have our executive council leaders who donate their time and volunteer to help us to steer the community. We then have our vice chair, the brilliant Holly Whittles, and myself as chair, all led by Estelle Johannes and her team internationally who work for NJ. So my role is to help to make sure the voices of what's happening at the community level gets played into what we do activity-wise, gets put on the agenda, and that what we do reflects the needs and the wants of our members. How'd I do, MJ? Am I all right? Still got the job?
Did brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So give us the
great.
scoop. Give us the scoop. How was the show? You guys had some spotlight awards, I hear?
Yep. The meeting was great. So for those of you who may not know, the CompTIA community is a global community, and the UK and Ireland was our first international region outside of North America. And because we're a vendor neutral trade association, we sit in that unique place, right, where we're able to bring together all of the adjacent communities and groups that are out there. So whether it's, ConnectWise and what you've got with your partner community and what you do with IT Nation and Evolve and all the others, whether it's any of the other vendors out there with their partner communities, we're the place where all of those communities can come together and work in a safe place to elevate the industry across the board for everyone's benefit. And we've just been so fortunate to have Dan, as an engaged member for years, and he's done just a terrific job in his role as the chair of the executive council. We had a terrific executive council meeting on Tuesday, and I think it's important to note that when things are talked about and ideas are generated in other regions, we're able to then push those and replicate those across all of our other regions around the globe. So, we talked about some things on Tuesday that are going to have direct impact on other regions around the world, not just the UK and Ireland. And then we had our regional meeting on Wednesday. We had 156, I believe was the final number, people in attendance. And we had some great presentations. We had an overview of our Industry Advisory Council program at CompTIA. And Vicky, instead of being in my top left box today, you were down in the lower right box of a presentation, and you're the liaison from the Industry Advisory Councils into the community. And you gave a great description of how that works. That was really well received. And then that night we had our Spotlight Awards, which is a highlight of the year in our regions. And the Spotlight Awards originated in the UK and Ireland region, and now they're both in North America and Australia, New Zealand. But this humble guy here named Dan was awarded the Community Leader of the Year award, which was awesome. And I had the great pleasure of handing it to Dan. And I don't know who the winners are. I never want to know who the winners are because I don't ever want to. It's a surprise for me, which is great. But the neat thing about our awards is that they're judged by people from outside the region. So they're judged by other volunteer leaders in the CompTIA community from North America, Benelux, DACH, ANZ, ASEAN. These aren't sponsored awards. These aren't awards where you can lobby your colleagues to vote for you. The winners are truly chosen, and the finalists as well, on the merit of their nomination and what they do to help the industry be the best that it can be. So it's a true, I said it to you, Dan, just 2 days ago, it's a true feather in your cap. I just flew in from London last evening. But it's always a treat for me to find out who the winners are. And it just worked out conveniently that it happened to be your very own Dan. And here we are on our field report from 3 houses and 1 field. Not really a field. It's a backyard. It's a backyard.
It's close enough.
It's a backyard.
Very nice.
I've got green.
Yeah, you got green. You got green.
So,
I dig it.
I have a question for Dan. Dan, what would be like your takeaway if people are listening in and maybe they're not engaged in the CompTIA community yet? Like, what are some of the benefits that you think are that you've been able to see working with the UK and Ireland regional group, and just and overall?
You're just going to see a lot of different perspectives, and you're going to see a different level of what we usually see within the industry. So to give you a working example, there might be certain people or certain companies or areas of the industry you only see in certain places. When you come along to a CompTIA event, you see everybody, which is, I think there's a great deal of value in. Also with the nature of what we have on the agendas, you can see some content that might not be focused on in other areas of our industry either. And so the variety of what's there, I think really speaks for itself. I think in our meeting this week, having everything from looking at what you can see from a law enforcement angle in cybersecurity, all the way to how you can be looking at recognizing and preventing self-sabotage within yourself from a mindset coach. There's a real variety there. But MJ said earlier, it's about coming together to how we can elevate the industry, how our trade association can give us the vehicle in order to create change within the industry, and from all different walks of the industry as well. Everyone from people who provide training and certifications, to distributors, to software vendors, to service providers, not just managed service providers, but then also other service providers within the industry, to print manufacturers. Everybody is represented within our trade association. So it's something that you should be aware of and involved in, as we all are on the call.
Yeah. And listen, we are so grateful to you all as individuals, and ConnectWise and others organizations in the channel as well, for helping us to make that known, right? Because we still suffer from that feeling of being a little bit of the best kept secret in the industry. And it was one of the highlights for me when I go to these meetings, is always seeing the first time attendees and seeing their eyes just absolutely pop and embrace the opportunity to make connections and get to know people and learn from others, that just really help accelerate careers and accelerate, goals and ambitions and missions. And it's I say it all the time. I feel like I'm one of the most lucky guys in the world, because I love what we do as a global team, and it's truly a credit to the team. I just get to be the bald guy out front sometimes, but well, you and I can relate, right?
Nothing wrong with being the bald guy out front sometimes.
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. All kidding aside, it's very meaningful work, and it's very mission driven. And we're not out here trying to make money. We're out here serving. It's not about money at all. That's the last thing. It's all about everything that Dan just described. It's truly a unique spot within the industry, and we're very mindful of that and have a great sense of responsibility about that.
One of the things that Patrick Beggs said to me the other day, which really resonated with me, is you mentioned CompTIA is still feeling like it's a best kept secret in the industry. And he said, I think we have to quit assuming that everybody knows where all the resources are, and then just be very mindful and communicate and recommunicate and communicate again where all of those places that MSPs and our community can go for help, for professional career growth, for thought leadership, and then, like you said, just really kind of understanding how we can help to support others, and in North America and beyond. So where's the next place that we can do that, MJ?
Next place is in Atlanta, Georgia, for ChannelCon. Our big annual event is ChannelCon and Partner Summit. ChannelCon is focused on the IT channel, on our community that we're talking about here. It's July 30th to August 1st. Registration's open. If you go out to connect.comptia.org/ChannelCon, all one word, you'll get right to the website. But that's where we share a tremendous amount of thought leadership. Again, because we are a unique organization in the industry and a neutral trade association, all of our sessions are education based. There is no selling from the stage at a CompTIA event. So we've got some fabulous sessions across 4 tracks. We have an MSP success track, we have a community track, we have a vendor and distributor education track, and we have a cybersecurity track. We have cybersecurity workshops on the pre-day to learn about compliance and risk management and the cybersecurity trust mark. We've got sessions across all the days. We have what we call the Technology Vendor Fair, which is similar to a traditional trade show fair, but it's our largest ever. We have 174 booths. And again, the unique thing about coming to a CompTIA event is every booth is the same size. So whether you're a mature member vendor like ConnectWise, or whether you're the newest startup vendor bringing a valuable product or service to the industry, everyone has the same size booth, and that levels things up in a really interesting way. You know, all of the exhibitors kind of up their game to show their stuff. But what our attendees tell us, specifically the MSPs and the service providers, is it prevents a real comfortable level playing field for them to sort of explore what's out there. So there's just it's a phenomenal event. Usually about 1,200 plus people attend from all over the world. Great connections, fabulous connections. And you'll see we've also opened registration for, we have a slightly smaller version of the event called the EMEA Member and Partner Conference in London in October as well. So whether you're, whether you can travel to North America, or if you're not able to travel to North America and Europe is an easier destination for you, you've got those options too. It's about half the size of ChannelCon, but our theme this year for both events, but specifically for ChannelCon, is all about sinking in. It's about sinking into the resources that you have. It's about sinking into the opportunities that are out there. It's about sinking into more knowledge, making new connections, consuming new research. We've got a phenomenal keynote with Kara Swisher. If you're familiar with Kara Swisher, if you're not, definitely look her up. We're really excited about that. That should be a phenomenal keynote. We award our Member of the Year, which is sort of the Dan Scott Community Leader of the Year on steroids. It's the Member of the Year, that person who's really exemplified that level of leadership globally. We release our latest edition of CompTIA World Magazine, which highlights that member and several of the programs going on. So there's just a tremendous amount of opportunity. And I will just make one more selfish plug. We always throw a good party. And this year it's at the Georgia Aquarium. So our industry night of celebration will be at the Georgia Aquarium, and there may be some kind of interesting, cool things in the tank that you wouldn't want to miss out on. So I'll just leave that little teaser out there.
Wait, is it going to be you, like in a scuba?
It's not going to be me. It is not going to be me.
No, not me either.
But
no.
That would
it
be
certainly
amazing.
could be, but I guarantee it will not be.
So, MJ, what's your favorite part of ChannelCon?
Oh boy, my favorite part of ChannelCon, honestly, it's watching people's faces and just kind of lurking around the different conversations. It's just, I don't know. It is a super positive, uplifting environment. You know, it's funny. ChannelCon evolved out of what used to be known as Breakaway, and I remember I was an MSP for decades, and I joined CompTIA as a member way back in the year 2000, and I think I went to my first Breakaway in 2004, and that's what struck me then. And then now, being part of the team, it's you look around the room, people are engaged. They're not like, their heads aren't in their phones. They're actually paying attention. They're participating. Sessions, are interactive if people are comfortable interacting. It's just, I take a tremendous amount of pride and pleasure in just seeing the look on people's faces and hearing the different types of conversations going on. And it's also, I bring our entire team in for it, because it's an opportunity for our entire team to both be there and be accessible for our members, but also to participate in the event and see the fruits of what they work on all year long. And, I've got, sorry guys, I'm going to say it, I got the best team in the industry. I love it. They are no disrespect to your team whatsoever, but they are just a group of highly, highly motivated people that care so deeply about delivering value that makes a real impact for people in their career, in how they serve their end customers, in what their organization is able to do, and to see them see the fruits of their labor, it's a very prideful moment.
Well, we feel like we're proxies to CompTIA employees,
You are
right?
totally proxies to CompTIA.
Yeah,
without
yeah.
question.
So we'll we're happy to be grouped in with
we'll group you right now.
Yeah.
You represent absolutely the ideal attributes of the members that really get the most from being a part of CompTIA and their membership, because you lean into it, right? You lean into it, you consume, and you challenge us appropriately so when it's appropriate to do so. And you challenge us to be better, to help you be better. And that's, we value that input. All of our programming has come from member requests. We don't just sit there and say, hey, we're CompTIA, we know best. You're going to take this class, and you're going to read this research, and you're going to go to this event, and you're going to do this and do this and do this. We listen, and we build our programming around exactly what you're telling us you need. So the work that Vicky, that you're doing on the industry advisory councils, the work that Dan's doing in the UK and Ireland region, that is so critical, because the results of what you do and the feedback that you give us drives our priorities year after year. And that's why we're able to sit in that unique place in the industry and provide that important service to the industry.
That's great. Well, I feel like we're going to have to get together at ChannelCon and record some content, or at the
that would
least,
be awesome.
At the least, have a recap, because Dan, you're going to be flying across the pond too for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. MJ was being very modest when he, of course, didn't admit to the fact that his favorite part of the event is going to be my session on Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the MSP Success Track. I think he's planning.
No, I'm sorry. It was going to be when I'm up on stage,
Bravo,
the member of the year. What are you talking about, Dan?
Wait, hold on. I'm also moderating a panel with Michelle McBain and Henry Tim and Tim Woods. So
Will, I think I think we're gonna be purchasing a sandbox to have at ChannelCon, so that all of us can get in there and duke it out.
I love this. I love this idea. It's the best thing ever.
We're pumped up about the content, overall the content, and the content we're creating too. So make sure that you're
the
checking
content's
it out.
Phenomenal. Absolutely, the content is great.
Awesome. Well,
and I'm not just saying that year after year. That's what our surveys tell us. So it is a highlight, no doubt.
And by the way, if you're listening into this broadcast, we do have a special code for you to leverage that is $1,200 off. So it's basically what the cost of a ticket would be, right, MJ? I think, or $1,200 is the.
That's the value we attach to it. We don't charge. So that's actually a really interesting point, Vicky. Companies that are CompTIA members can send as many of their employees as they want to the event for no cost, because it's part of your member benefit. So for an MSP CompTIA membership, it's only $450 a year. And sometimes we run $100 off promos at events in partnership with some of our members. So you can oftentimes get it for as little as $350 a year. If you're a staff of 10 or 100, you can all come to any of our events for free. And then we often offer these codes for people to come for free, but we attach a value to it, because there are many events in the industry that you will pay, good money to attend. Look, I did it for years as an MSP. I would spend a couple $1,000s to attend a certain event, especially with a vendor that I was a partner with, where, that clearly had value. But for us, the more people that come and consume the content and benefit from it, the better. It is not a revenue center for us at all. It is a pure spend for us. It's an investment in our members, in our industry, and it will always be so.
All right, well said. I don't know if we can follow up at what MJ just mentioned, because I think you did a great job. And by the way, I know that you're also working on the time zone difference change. So
No, I'll give you a hint,
And
many of us here know Amy Cardell, a former MSP who was also a member of CompTIA staff. Now, she gave me a tip years ago. I'll see if I can figure out how to put it in the chat. And I'll see. I've lost my technical chops. I'm not sure how to put it in the chat, but there's an app called Time Shifter. Just go find Time Shifter as an app if you travel internationally. It starts about 2 days before you travel and it ends about 2 days after. It tells you when to get light, when to get bright light, dim light, when to wear sunglasses, when to use caffeine, not nap, sleep. Ever since I've used that app,
taking notes.
Yeah. I've done some squirrely trips. Let me tell you, I have never had jet lag since I've used that app. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, listen, and by the way, MJ, our amazing producer, put it into the chat. So if you also are traveling internationally to ChannelCon or somewhere else, make sure you check it out.
Use that app. If you do have jet lag, disclaimer, I'm not responsible. If you forget to wear sunglasses in the middle of the day when it tells you to because you don't want to look goofy, sorry, I do that.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I know that we asked you guys really last minute to join us on the Friday Field Report, but I feel like this has been super beneficial. Hopefully for all the viewers out there, you're getting a little slice of what it's like to be a CompTIA member and to also being super engaged in the CompTIA community. You never know, you may win an award depending on, the help that you're bringing to the community. But either way, we hope that we see you next month at ChannelCon. Will and I definitely want to see you on the Friday Field Report in 2 weeks,
Absolutely.
right, Will?
2 weeks, July 12th, I believe, is the next date.
Yep, July 12th.
Awesome.
So
and thank you so much for inviting me on. Really appreciate it. Dan, this is great. I love getting to see you in person and like barely 24 hours later be online with you from opposite sides of the pond.
4,000 miles apart. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Technology is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, Vicky, well, thank you. It's great to be here. I've arrived. Absolutely. You know, it's brilliant. I want to go on this
on the field report.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to note one more time. One person's in the field, 3 people aren't.
All right. This is I've accepted the challenge, MJ. And next week, Will, you can hold me to this. In 2 weeks, I will be in my son's treehouse live streaming from there.
Oh,
I promise you that.
I will be here watching.
Okay. Steven has like a little he has like a little ramp and a rope that you have to climb up. So I'm thinking of the entry and I
think that's your intro for your next field report. Climbing on up.
Yep.
Dig it.
It's happening. All right, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
We'll see you soon.
Have a great one, everybody.
Bye.